Focus only on what is within your control. If there is one principle capable of liberating the human mind from needless agitation, it is the clear recognition of what belongs to us and what does not. The majority of anxiety, frustration, and inner turbulence arises from a profound misunderstanding of this simple boundary. We spend immeasurable energy attempting to command what lies forever beyond the jurisdiction of our will, while neglecting the one domain that is truly ours, the governance of our own mind and conduct. To focus only on what is within your control is not an act of weakness or resignation. It is, rather, an act of intellectual sovereignty. It is the disciplined refusal to squander your mental strength on matters that the structure of reality has never placed in your hands. Consider the nature of life itself. Events unfold according to a vast and intricate order that no single individual can dictate. The weather will change without consulting your preference. Other people will act according to their own judgments, desires, and limitations. Fortune will sometimes favor you and sometimes oppose you, with a neutrality that is neither personal nor malicious. Yet despite this obvious truth, the human mind repeatedly commits the same error. It demands authority over outcomes, circumstances, and opinions that were never assigned to it. You may wish for recognition, yet you cannot command the admiration of others. You may strive for success, yet you cannot guarantee the precise result of your efforts. You may long for stability, yet the world itself is built upon change. When the mind insists on controlling what it cannot command, anxiety is the inevitable consequence. It is the psychological cost of waging war against reality. The Stoic discipline proposes a different path, one that restores clarity, dignity, and composure to the individual. It begins with a precise distinction between two realms. The first realm contains what is genuinely within your power: your judgments, your intentions, your choices, your effort, your character. These are the instruments of your inner government. No external force can seize them without your consent. The second realm contains everything else: the behavior of others, the fluctuations of fortune, the reactions of society, the unfolding of the future, and the ultimate results of your actions. Wisdom consists in directing your full attention toward the first realm while relinquishing your attachment to the second. This distinction may appear simple in theory, yet it demands continuous practice. The mind has a natural tendency to drift toward speculation, prediction, and worry. It imagines countless outcomes and attempts to prepare for every possible misfortune. But this habit only entangles the mind in a labyrinth of hypothetical scenarios. Instead, discipline yourself to ask a single clarifying question whenever anxiety arises. Is this within my control? If the answer is yes, then your responsibility is action. If the answer is no, then your responsibility is acceptance. Both responses require courage. Action requires the courage to apply effort without hesitation. Acceptance requires the courage to release the illusion of control and trust the natural unfolding of events. To focus on what is within your control is therefore an act of strategic concentration. It gathers the scattered energies of the mind and directs them toward purposeful conduct. When you prepare diligently for your work, that preparation is within your control. When you speak honestly and act with integrity, that behavior is within your control. When you respond to difficulty with patience rather than resentment, that response is within your control. These are the areas in which excellence becomes possible. These are the areas where character is forged. By contrast, worrying about how others will judge you accomplishes nothing. Attempting to predict every future obstacle accomplishes nothing. Rehearsing imaginary failures accomplishes nothing except the erosion of your peace. The Stoic understands that energy is a finite resource. To expend it on uncontrollable variables is to impoverish oneself unnecessarily. Imagine a skilled archer. The archer can choose the bow, Steady the stance, aim with precision, and release the arrow with disciplined technique. All of this belongs to the archer's control. But once the arrow leaves the string, countless factors influence its final destination: the wind, the movement of the target, the subtle shifts of circumstance. A wise archer judges success not by the uncontrollable flight of the arrow, but by the excellence of the shot. So it should be with your life. Your responsibility is not to dominate the outcome of events, but to perfect the quality of your effort and judgment. When you act with clarity, courage, and virtue, you have fulfilled your role regardless of how circumstances respond. This perspective carries profound psychological benefits. By narrowing your attention to what lies within your authority, the mind becomes lighter, steadier, and more resilient. Anxiety loses much of its fuel because its primary source, the illusion of control over external events, has been removed. You begin to experience a quiet confidence rooted not in guaranteed success, but in the reliability of your own character. Whatever happens, you will respond thoughtfully. Whatever occurs, you will meet it with reason rather than panic. Whatever outcome unfolds, it cannot deprive you of the integrity of your conduct. This realization produces a form of freedom that external conditions cannot easily disturb. When criticism appears, you examine whether it is valid. If it is, you improve. If it is not, you disregard it. The opinion itself lies outside your control. Your response does not. When setbacks arise, you analyze your effort and adjust your strategy. The setback itself lies outside your control. Your perseverance does not. When uncertainty clouds the future, you return your attention to the present responsibility before you. The future lies outside your control. Your present action does not. Through this discipline, the mind gradually becomes less reactive and more deliberate. You cease to be dragged by every shifting circumstance and instead become anchored in the stability of your own principles. In this sense, focusing on what is within your control is not merely a philosophical exercise. It is a method of reclaiming authority over your inner life. You cannot command the universe, but you can command the way you meet it. And that, in the final measure of a life, is more than sufficient. Return your mind to the present moment. One of the most profound sources of human unrest is the mind's habitual exile from the present moment. Rarely does it remain where life is actually unfolding. Instead, it wanders restlessly between the unchangeable past and the uncertain future, constructing endless scenarios, rehearsing regrets, anticipating dangers, and magnifying possibilities that have not yet taken form. In doing so, it abandons the only moment in which clarity, action, and peace are genuinely available, the present. To return your mind to the present moment is therefore not a trivial discipline. It is a fundamental practice of mental sovereignty. It is the deliberate act of reclaiming your attention from the chaos of speculation and restoring it to the domain where reason and effectiveness can operate. Consider carefully the nature of time as it relates to human experience. The past, however vivid its memories, is no longer accessible to your influence. It has already been sealed by the passage of events. The future, however elaborate your predictions may be, exists only as a projection within the imagination. It has not yet requested your effort, nor has it revealed its true form. The present moment alone stands before you as a living reality. It is the narrow but powerful gateway through which all meaningful action must pass. Yet the human mind frequently refuses to inhabit this gateway. It revisits past mistakes with relentless criticism, replaying scenes that can no longer be altered. It projects itself into imagined futures filled with uncertainty, attempting to solve problems that may never arise. In both cases, it burdens itself with responsibilities that time has not assigned to it. This mental habit produces anxiety because it multiplies the number of difficulties the mind believes it must manage. Instead of confronting a single moment, it attempts to carry an entire lifetime at once. The Stoic discipline offers a corrective perspective. Reduce the vastness of life into manageable portions. Meet existence one moment at a time. This does not mean ignoring the lessons of the past or refusing to plan for the future. Reflection and preparation are valuable when they serve rational purpose, but they must never dominate the mind so completely that they overshadow the present duty. A wise individual recognizes that the present moment contains everything necessary for meaningful living. Within it lies the opportunity to think clearly, act justly, and respond with composure. Nothing more is required. When the mind drifts into anxious anticipation, gently return it to the immediate reality before you. Ask yourself a simple but powerful question. What is required of me right now? Not next year, not next month, not in the imagined crises of tomorrow, but here, now, often. The answer is surprisingly modest. Perhaps you must complete a single task. Perhaps you must listen attentively to another person. Perhaps you must exercise patience in the face of inconvenience. Perhaps you must simply breathe, gather your thoughts, and proceed calmly. When the mind concentrates fully on the present responsibility, the overwhelming weight of hypothetical problems begins to dissolve. What once appeared as an enormous burden reveals itself as a series of manageable steps. This approach reflects a deeper truth about human capability. Our strength is designed to operate in the present moment. Nature equips us with enough resilience to confront the challenges of today, but not to endure the imagined anxieties of an entire future. When we attempt to carry tomorrow's difficulties before they arrive, we overload the mind with unnecessary strain. It is like attempting to lift every stone of a long road before taking the first step. Returning the mind to the present restores balance to this process. It allows effort to be applied precisely where it is useful. Furthermore, the present moment is the only arena in which character can be expressed. Virtue, whether in the form of courage, patience, honesty, or discipline, does not exist in abstract theory. It reveals itself through immediate choices. You cannot demonstrate courage in a future that has not yet arrived. You cannot practice patience in a past that has already vanished. You can only embody these qualities in the present moment. For this reason, the Stoic regards the present not merely as a segment of time, but as the central stage upon which the entire drama of a life unfolds. To inhabit this stage fully requires a certain form of mental training. The mind must be taught to notice when it has wandered into unnecessary speculation and then guided back with calm determination. This process is not achieved through harsh self-criticism. Instead, it resembles the steady guidance of a skilled navigator correcting the course of a drifting ship. Each time the mind strays toward anxious imagination, gently redirect it toward the reality of the current moment. Observe your surroundings. Focus on the task before you. Engage completely with what you are doing. Over time, this practice cultivates a remarkable clarity of perception. The mind becomes less fragmented and more concentrated. Attention sharpens. Decisions become more deliberate. An additional benefit emerges as well: gratitude. When the mind dwells exclusively in the future, it treats the present merely as a bridge towards some anticipated outcome. Life becomes a perpetual waiting room. But when the mind returns fully to the present, it begins to recognize the richness already contained within ordinary moments, the quiet satisfaction of purposeful work, the subtle beauty of simple experiences, the meaningful connection between individuals. In this way, returning the mind to the present does not merely reduce anxiety. It deepens the quality of life itself, that also prepares the individual for whatever the future may bring. A mind trained to remain steady in the present is far better equipped to respond intelligently when genuine challenges arise. Instead of reacting with panic, it observes, evaluates, and acts with measured judgment. Such composure is not accidental. It is the natural outcome of repeated practice in focusing attention where it truly belongs. Ultimately, the discipline of returning your mind to the present moment is an act of profound realism. It aligns your mental energy with the structure of time itself. It acknowledges that life unfolds only one moment at a time, and that wisdom lies in meeting each moment with clarity and intention. If you cultivate this habit consistently, you will discover that many anxieties lose their grip upon you. The mind becomes quieter, steadier, and more capable of thoughtful action. And you will realize a simple but powerful truth. This moment is enough. Attend to it with care, and the rest of life will unfold as it must. Asterisk. Question anxious thoughts with reason. Among the many disturbances that afflict the human mind, anxiety is perhaps the most deceptive. It rarely announces itself as mere imagination. Instead, it presents its worries as if they were undeniable truths, urgent warnings that must be obeyed immediately. The anxious mind persuades us that its fears are rational, its predictions accurate, and its conclusions unavoidable. Yet, upon closer examination, many of these thoughts are neither logical nor necessary. They are products of unchecked assumption, exaggerated projection, and emotional distortion. For this reason, one of the most powerful disciplines a person can cultivate is the ability to question anxious thoughts with reason. Reason is the faculty that distinguishes human beings from creatures governed solely by instinct. It is the internal judge capable of examining impressions, evaluating evidence, and separating reality from illusion. When anxiety attempts to dominate the mind, reason becomes the instrument through which clarity is restored. The Stoic understanding of mental disturbance begins with a crucial insight. Events themselves do not disturb us. What disturbs us are the interpretations we attach to those events. The same circumstance that overwhelms one individual may leave another calm and composed. The difference lies not in the situation, but in the judgment applied to it. Anxiety thrives when thoughts are accepted without examination. The mind encounters an unsettling possibility and immediately treats it as a certainty. A minor difficulty is interpreted as an impending catastrophe. A single setback becomes evidence of inevitable failure. An ambiguous situation is translated into the worst imaginable outcome. When these interpretations go unchallenged, they accumulate and form a narrative of threat that feels increasingly convincing. The individual begins to react not to reality itself, but to a series of imagined conclusions constructed within the mind. The remedy lies in disciplined inquiry. When an anxious thought appears, do not accept it automatically. Instead, pause and examine it as a philosopher examines a claim presented for debate. Ask it questions. Demand justification. Require evidence. Begin with the most fundamental inquiry. Is this thought unquestionably true? Often the answer will reveal that the mind has leapt from possibility to certainty without sufficient grounds. The future event being feared may be only one among many potential outcomes. Yet anxiety treats it as inevitable. Next, ask a second question. What evidence supports this belief, and what evidence contradicts it? You may discover that the mind has selectively focused on negative possibilities while ignoring counterexamples. Past successes, available resources, and alternative explanations may have been overlooked in the rush toward alarm. A third question follows naturally. Even if this feared outcome occurred, would it truly be as devastating as I imagine? The anxious mind frequently magnifies difficulties far beyond their realistic scale. It assumes that setbacks are permanent, humiliations unbearable, and challenges insurmountable. Yet history repeatedly demonstrates that human beings possess remarkable resilience. Situations that once appeared catastrophic often become manageable Once they are actually confronted, reason exposes these exaggerations. It reminds the mind that its initial interpretation may not reflect the full complexity of reality. Furthermore, questioning anxious thoughts encourages intellectual humility. It acknowledges that the mind is capable of error. Our perceptions are influenced by mood, past experience, and personal bias. Recognizing this fallibility protects us from treating every fearful thought as authoritative. Instead, thoughts become hypotheses to be evaluated rather than commands to be obeyed. This shift in perspective creates psychological distance between the thinker and the thought. Anxiety loses much of its power when it is no longer mistaken for absolute truth. It becomes merely a suggestion offered by the mind, one that may or may not deserve acceptance. Another valuable practice is to analyze the practical usefulness of an anxious thought. Ask yourself, does this thought help me act wisely, or does it merely agitate my emotions? If a concern leads to constructive preparation, such as improving your skills, planning responsibly, or addressing a genuine risk, then it serves a beneficial purpose. But if it produces only repetitive worry without actionable insight, then it functions as a mental distraction rather than a guide. Reason encourages us to invest attention only in thoughts that contribute to meaningful action. This discipline also restores a sense of proportion. Anxiety tends to isolate a single problem and inflate it until it appears to dominate the entire horizon of life. By applying reason, we place the issue back into its proper context. We remember that one difficulty does not define an entire existence. One failure does not erase a lifetime of effort. One uncertain outcome does not determine the totality of our future. The mind regains balance when it sees events within their broader perspective. In addition, questioning anxious thoughts reinforces personal autonomy. When fear dictates our conclusions without scrutiny, we become passive recipients of our own mental disturbances. But when we apply reason deliberately, we reclaim authorship over our inner dialogue. We choose which thoughts deserve belief and which should be dismissed. This is not the suppression of emotion, but its intelligent regulation. Emotions themselves are natural responses, yet they must remain subject to the guidance of rational judgment. Just as a skilled ruler listens to advisors but retains final authority, the wise individual acknowledges emotional impressions while reserving the right to evaluate them. Over time, consistent practice strengthens this capacity. The mind becomes more adept at recognizing cognitive distortions and correcting them before they escalate into overwhelming anxiety. Fearful predictions are examined rather than obeyed. Catastrophic interpretations are replaced with measured analysis. The result is a calmer, more resilient mental landscape. Life will always contain uncertainty, difficulty, and unexpected challenges. Reason does not eliminate these realities. What it eliminates is the unnecessary suffering created by exaggerated interpretation. By questioning anxious thoughts with disciplined logic, you transform your relationship with the mind itself. Instead of being carried away by every alarming impression, you become an observer capable of assessing each thought with deliberate care. And in that moment of examination, anxiety begins to lose its authority. For reason clear, patient, and unwavering remains one of the most reliable guardians of a tranquil mind. Asterisk accept uncertainty as part of nature. Among the deepest sources of anxiety within the human mind lies a persistent desire for certainty. We wish to know precisely how events will unfold, how others will behave, whether our efforts will succeed, and what tomorrow will demand of us. The mind longs for guarantees, clear outcomes, and stable assurances that life will proceed according to our expectations. Yet this longing confronts a fundamental truth about existence. Uncertainty is not an error in the design of life. It is one of its defining characteristics. To accept uncertainty as part of nature is therefore not an act of passive surrender. It is a profound intellectual alignment with reality itself. It is the recognition that the universe does not operate according to the rigid expectations of human preference, but according to a vast and intricate order in which change, unpredictability, and variation are essential elements. From the movement of the stars to the shifting patterns of weather, from the growth of civilizations to the quiet unfolding of individual lives, uncertainty permeates every layer of existence. Nature advances through countless interacting forces, many of which lie beyond the comprehension or influence of any single individual. Yet the human mind frequently resists this reality. It constructs detailed expectations about how events should unfold and becomes disturbed when those expectations are not fulfilled. We imagine a future that conforms to our plans, and when life diverges from that script, we interpret the divergence as a failure or injustice. This resistance generates anxiety because it attempts to impose rigid control upon a system that is inherently fluid. The Stoic perspective offers a liberating alternative. Rather than demanding certainty from the world, cultivate the strength to navigate uncertainty with composure. To do this, one must first recognize that uncertainty does not necessarily imply danger. It merely reflects the complexity of reality. The fact that an outcome cannot be predicted with perfect precision does not mean that disaster is inevitable. It simply means that multiple possibilities exist. Unfortunately, the anxious mind tends to interpret uncertainty in the most pessimistic manner possible. When faced with an unknown future, it often selects the most negative potential outcome and treats it as the most probable. This habit transforms uncertainty into a breeding ground for fear. Reason, however, reveals that uncertainty also contains opportunity. If the future is not fixed, then it remains open to improvement, adaptation, and unexpected success. The same unpredictability that allows difficulties to arise also permits favorable developments that we could never have anticipated. By accepting uncertainty as a natural condition rather than an enemy, the mind becomes less threatened by the unknown. It begins to see life not as a rigid structure that must conform perfectly to expectation, but as a dynamic process requiring flexibility and resilience. This acceptance encourages a shift in focus. Instead of attempting to predict every future circumstance, the wise individual prepares to respond wisely to whatever circumstances may appear. Preparation is fundamentally different from prediction. Prediction attempts to control the future by imagining it in advance. Preparation, by contrast, strengthens the individual's capacity to handle a wide range of outcomes. It cultivates qualities such as courage, patience, discipline, and adaptability, virtues that remain valuable regardless of the specific situation encountered. In this sense, accepting uncertainty redirects attention from external outcomes to internal readiness. You cannot guarantee that every plan will succeed. You cannot ensure that every relationship will proceed without conflict. You cannot eliminate the possibility of setbacks or unexpected challenges, but you can develop the strength of character necessary to confront these realities with steadiness and intelligence. Nature itself provides countless examples of this principle. Consider the resilience of living organisms. Trees do not demand predictable winds before extending their branches toward the sky. Rivers do not insist on perfectly smooth terrain before continuing their course. Life adapts, adjusts, and persists within constantly changing conditions. Human beings possess an even greater capacity for adaptation because we are equipped with reason and self-awareness. Yet these advantages are diminished when the mind becomes fixated on achieving absolute certainty. Such Certainty is neither available nor necessary. Stoic approach encourages us to adopt a broader perspective on existence. When we recognize that uncertainty has always been present in human history, our personal anxieties begin to appear less extraordinary. Every generation has faced unknown futures, shifting circumstances, and unpredictable challenges. Despite this, individuals have continued to think, act, create, and endure. What allowed them to proceed was not certainty about outcomes, but confidence in their ability to respond with intelligence and perseverance. This realization invites a subtle but powerful transformation in attitude. Instead of asking, "What if things go wrong?" the mind begins to ask, "Whatever happens, how can I respond well?" This question places emphasis on conduct rather than prediction. It acknowledges that while events may lie outside our control, our responses remain within our authority. Furthermore, accepting uncertainty encourages humility. It reminds us that our perspective represents only a small portion of a vast and complex reality. Many outcomes that initially appear undesirable may later reveal unexpected benefits, while apparent successes may carry unforeseen consequences. The future unfolds in ways that often defy our immediate interpretations. Recognizing this complexity discourages premature judgment. Instead of labeling every uncertain development as threatening, the mind learns to observe patiently and respond thoughtfully as events clarify themselves. Gradually, a sense of tranquility emerges from this perspective. The mind no longer demands complete knowledge of the future before acting. It understands that action must proceed despite uncertainty, and that wisdom lies in navigating the unknown with courage rather than resisting it with fear. In practical terms, this means approaching life with a